Today, I hope you guys are into evil
Darkness.
because we're gonna check out the orange Dual Dark 100.
Let's do it.
Evil and darkness, Joe. All right, guys, hope you're having a great day out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle. What I do is I take all sorts of awesome high gain related guitar equipment, I record it with a simple setup, and I make my dogs come downstairs for guest appearances. You gotta go pee pee poo poo doo doo. Evil and darkness, Marby.
Evil and darkness.
So if you're into E-standard thrash riffs, dropsy hardcore riffs, and dudes who have the bestest good boys,
And the whole friggin' universe.
you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button and subscribing on your way out so you don't miss any more of my stuff. Thanks! All right, guys, so today we have ourselves a special little treat. An amplifier that is actually quite rare, has risen astronomically in value over the last couple of years, and has gained a cult following, I guess you could say. That amplifier is the orange Dual Dark 100. Now, normally this part of the video is where I would tell you some sort of the history about the amp, why it was designed, when it was released, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't know anything about any of that because when this amp came out, I was not really an orange amplifier fan. I had never even played an orange, and I kind of just associated them with types of music where the guitar tone was not something that I personally was after. Big old muddy butt mud type tones. But fast forward to now, and I realized that I actually love orange amplifiers. So when I saw this baby pop up on Guitar Center's website, I figured Papa's gotta have a taste of that orange. That felt so unnatural to say. So with that being said, I purchased this amplifier with my own money, and it will be going back to Guitar Center. And it's not because I don't like the amp, because I very, very much do like the amp. So you're probably asking yourself,
Kyle, why would you return it then?
and the answer is because this amp cost me almost $3,000. Now, normally that's not enough of a reason for me to not be into an amplifier, as I own plenty of amps that have really high price tags. Humble brag. But the reason that I am returning this amplifier is because I don't really feel like it does anything that the Rockerverb Mark III or the TH100 doesn't do. Don't do. Those words. And by saying that, what I mean is that this amp is basically a TH100 style circuit and a Rockerverb style circuit with some tweaks to the voicing to make it a little bit darker. As far as I'm aware, I'm not 100% sure on the differences, but I very much hear both of those amplifiers in this amplifier, and I already own both of those amps, and I already paid significantly less for both of those amps than I did for this one. So there really is no reason for me to hang on to it, and that's pretty much it. So that being said, we're gonna go ahead. We are going to do a little playthrough of this bad boy before it goes back. I did make a Quad Cortex capture pack of this amplifier, so if you would like to get some awesome sounding captures of this bad boy, head on over to my Patreon where these will be for sale. The capture pack will be $15 and it'll be somewhere around 15 captures of a bunch of different tones, using some different pedals, some EQs and stuff like that to really get some cool sounds out of this. And with me having moved into my new studio, by the time that this video comes out, I really need the help. So quick overview of the features of this amplifier. 100-watt amplifier loaded with EL34 power tubes. We've got two different channels, as I mentioned. Both channels are high gain, as you guys saw in that intro clip. Over here, we have a TH100 style circuit where it's literally just a shape control to control the EQ, gain, and volume. And then channel A, we've got treble, mid, bass, gain, and volume. And then much like the rocker verb, we've got the built-in attenuator, which does have an effect on the overall sound. We've also got the ability to put this in full or half power, and on the back of this thing, we've got the ability to put it in 4 power tube mode or 2 power tube mode. So really, you get all sorts of power options for this amplifier, basically anywhere from 100 watts all the way down to 25 watts. And really, that's about it. There's an effects loop. You can foot switch between the 2 channels, and yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. So for that intro clip, I was using my Epiphone Adam Jones 1979 Les Paul custom signature guitar with the Seymour Duncan distortion in the bridge. If you like this guitar, if you like what you heard, make sure to visit that Zounds affiliate link down below because they provided this guitar for me to use on the channel. We are going into a Mesa 1999 traditional 4x12 cab with the stock vintage 30s, SM57 on the V30s, and we were boosting this thing with the Lichtlerm King in yellow overdrive. So again, just to refresh your memory, here's how that sounded. We're starting on channel A, and then I'll switch over to channel B. So as you can see, 2 pretty unique high gain voices on this channel. Channel A kind of reminds me of the rocker verb overall, but with a little bit more emphasis on the low mids. It's a little bit more guttural sounding. Both channels are very, very big. Channel B kind of sounds a little bit more like the traditional orange sound that you would think of, kind of mid forward, kind of fuzzy on the top end. Can get extremely bright if you dial the shape control up, but both channels are capable of extremely high gain tones. Both channels feature the orange gain sweep on the gain knob, where essentially if you bump it above 1 o'clock, it's gonna be super, super gainy. If you bump it below 1 o'clock, it's like one of the tube gain stages was taken completely out of the amplifier. It's really hard to get an in-between of the 2, so you'll find yourself experimenting with different overdrives and possibly different EQ boosts and stuff in order to get the EQ exactly where you want it. But that was with an overdrive involved. Let's kick off the overdrive because you're gonna find the overdrive makes a big difference on this amp. So yeah, as you can hear, very fat, pretty fuzzy in the gain department, and pretty dark up top overall. I really feel like this is an amp that you need to pair the right overdrive with in order to get your tone out of it if you're going for anything that's high gain and modern with any sort of semblance of tightness. This amp is not tight at all on its own, and you're gonna have to basically work at getting it to tighten up, which is why that overdrive is so important. So those were the high gain tones, but real quick, let's test out each channel to see if we can get kind of more of a dad rock tone out of this, because everybody's buying an amp called the Dual Dark 100 for dad rock. All right, guys, I have my Heritage H150 standard artisan aged model with the Seymour Duncan Antiquity in the bridge. We have no overdrive on out front, and we have the amp dialed in, as you guys see here. And now over to channel B. All right, so it definitely gets the dad rock tones if you want it to. Let's dial the gain up a little bit on each channel and let's see how they respond to the volume control on the guitar. All right, so definitely responds really well to the volume being rolled down on channel A. How about channel B? All right, so yeah, both channels respond heavily to the input, which is not a surprise to me because I've noticed how sensitive this thing is to the overdrive. It's really not shocking that it would react to different pickup outputs and different pickup volume levels going into the amplifier. I really think that this amp and most orange amps for that matter are very sensitive to what's going into the front of them, and you can really shape the overall response and sound using those volume controls. So now that we have that out of the way, let's get back into the good stuff because I don't like loser rock. It's all in good fun. Keep your depends on, Larry. All right, so now I want to see, can we get a high gain tone out of this thing with these PAF style pickups without an overdrive out front? So we're going straight in. We are on channel A. All right, so yes, we can definitely get a high gain tone. It is very saturated. It is a little bit round sounding though, and it's very rubber bandy in the low end. Again, you're gonna have to work to tighten this amp up. So that was channel A. Let's try channel B. All right, so overall channel B, a little bit more saturated. It is a little bit boomier in the low end, but in a more punchy way. It's not quite as fat and rubber bandy sounding as channel A, so if I had to go straight in, I do like channel B a little bit better, and it can get super high gain on both channels, but doesn't really kind of like give me what I'm looking for without an overdrive. So let's kick in something that's gonna cut out a lot of those lows and give us a very aggressive type of EQ curve. And that pedal is the Boss SD1, and it sounds like this on channel B. All right, so a big difference. It has certainly been tightened up quite a bit. Adds a little bit more aggression, a little bit more clarity to the notes. Let's go over to channel A, let's do the same thing. All right, so channel A honestly sounds really cool. Again, I like the low end on B better. It's punchier, it's more percussive, but low A has a really cool guttural thing going on in the voicing. I really like this amp, guys, honestly. Like, if it wasn't so stupid expensive, if it was closer to 1,500 bucks, no question would I keep this around. So with all that being said, let's actually go to a guitar with active pickups. Let's try an EMG 81. All right, guys, EMG 81 in the bridge of my Schecter Hellraiser Extreme here. We're gonna try both channels real quick without a boost, and then on both channels, we're gonna kick in an Electric Eye Audio Mud Killer. This boost is really good at cleaning up the low end frequencies on big boomy amps. So here we go. Channel A, no overdrive. Channel B, no overdrive. So yeah, again, overall, plenty of gain, plenty of low end, but very, you know, unfocused. So let's focus it up. Let's kick in that Electric Eye Mud Killer. Way better, man. So good when you can really cut out those low end frequencies going into the amp. Let's try it on channel A. like the way that this thing sounds, the channel differences, again, everything stands there, really cool. So let's try a Fishman Fluence real quick. All right guys, Fishman Fluence Modern Ceramic here in the Schecter E1 SLS Evil Twin. Same overdrive, same amp settings, we're on channel A. Over to channel B. All right, so that's how it is with the Fishman Fluence Modern Ceramic. I'm not sure which one of those I really like better, but they both sounded pretty good, and I'm not usually the biggest active pickup fan. I do think that I like the highs of the Fishman Modern Ceramic better going into the Dual Dark because it is kind of rolled off in those upper mid frequencies, and the Fishman Modern Ceramic Fluence, God, that's a lot of words, opened up the amplifier a little bit more for me. So with the active pickups out of the way, let's try drop C. All right guys, for my drop C guitar, we have the Grisenia Nero Empress Standard with a Seymour Duncan Pegasus in the bridge. We still have the Electric Eye Mud Killer on, and we are on channel B. All right, over to channel A. So this thing really does well with the lower tunings, which I was expecting. It doesn't really get fatter and uglier like some already fat amps tend to do when you drop down. It just kind of like enhances all the good things about tuning low, like the grunt of the low mids, and the saturation stays intact really well. So I actually think that's really cool. One thing I haven't done yet, there's not much to do with the shape on the channel B, not really much that you can do with the EQ, but over here, let's check out the EQ on channel A and see how much of a difference that mid control makes. Let's check out that attenuator real quick. So we've got it turned up here at about 11 o'clock, and I have noticed that there's kind of a sweet spot between the attenuator and the master volume of the amplifier, or the channel volumes, I'm sorry. The attenuator almost kind of acts like a master volume. It seems to me that when you turn the attenuator up and the volume up to compensate, it just gets punchier. There's like more of a tightness, more of a percussiveness to it. So let's actually turn the attenuator up a little bit more. On the flip side, let's turn the attenuator down and the volume down so we can volume match. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the other way around. For some reason, I remember the attenuator turning it up, kind of giving the amp a little bit more punch, but with the attenuator off, man, it sounds a little bit more punchy, a little bit more open. Let's check it out on channel B. last but not least, let's check it out. Really, really low tune. All right, guys, so I have another Grisenia guitar here. This is the Royale baritone with a Fishman Fluence modern ceramic in the bridge. It is tuned to drop butthole. This is literally the lowest tuned guitar that I've ever played. We still have that Electric Eye Mud Killer on, and we are on channel B. It sounds like this. I literally don't even know what I'm doing in that tuning. Here's how it sounds without the overdrive engaged. I have a feeling it's going to be an insane difference. So funny enough, as fat as this amp sounds in E standard or in drop D, like it doesn't really get gross when you tune it way, way lower in this case and in the case with the drop C. Like it just seems to stay together when you tune down, and therefore I think that it actually sounds better for those lower tunings. Even without an overdrive. I don't know, man. There's something weird going on with that, but really cool amp. I'm a fan. What did you guys think of this thing though? Do you share the same feelings and opinions that I do about it? Is it an amazing amp that is just overpriced on the used market because they're no longer available? Or do you think it sounds like poo poo doo doo butt mud? Whatever it is, let me know down below in the description. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands. And I type in the description, you type in the comments. Let me know below in the comments. Really curious to see what you guys have to say. So if you liked the video, hit the like button, consider subscribing if you're not subscribed, and if you want to continue to help the channel, those affiliate links that I mentioned again to Zounds and Sweetwater, those really do go a long way. So if you're shopping for any new gear, make sure to hit those affiliate links, and I would really, really appreciate it. It goes a long, long way. I already said that. Or you could add your name to this list of incredible people by joining my Patreon community and supporting the channel that way. I'm getting out of here, guys. I gotta go return this thing. Thanks so much for watching. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.
You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.